Hello, friends. I am going to let us listen to this amazing Instagram, and I'll put the link in the description. And it basically captures what is very tricky for a lot of people in relationships, especially since we now have this idea that, like, I should set boundaries. I should tell people what I need and what I think. And what's tricky about that is that when we ask other people to take care of our nervous systems, they're not able to because it's not physically possible. A lot of us can get into the habit of being in relationships and being like, hey, don't do this, and don't do this because I don't like it. And then we're basically handing the other person complete control of our nervous system, which they are 100% going to fail at. Because even if they do everything that we say we want to do, we're still going to have nervous systems that sense threat, and it's going to be things that we couldn't predict, and it just puts you in a very vulnerable position. So basically the nervous system's job is just to let you know when it interprets threat, and then you get to take care of what it was scared about rather than asking the person not to scare you. So let this person say it because I think she has a really nice way of saying it, and then we'll loop back together.
Gave my boyfriend an unsolicited 13-page typed single-space guidebook on how to not trigger me.
Wow.
Here are the topics and words to avoid. If I get sad, here's what you do to fix it. And if I get triggered, here's what you do to pull me back to earth so I don't blow up my life, job, or our relationship. I'm thinking, I've cracked the code. And I give it to him and he reads it, and then he's really awkward for the rest of the night. And I'm like, hey, what do you think of this brilliance that I've given you? And he says, no. What? Excuse me, I'm not familiar with this word. And he was like, you're asking me to not be myself. You're asking me to perform and be a certain way that you want me to be to not hit your shit. I think instead we both do our best, and then when we hit each other's shit, which we inevitably will, we work through it together. And I guess I had never really considered that as an option. So I was like, okay, let's do that route. I mean, it sounds lame and isn't what I've seen in rom-coms, but whatever. And now 8+ years later, it's the most communicative, honest, delicious, hilarious, fun relationship that I could possibly imagine. And the amount of stuff that we have healed in relationship is really very cool because there's nothing more activating and triggering than living life. The only way to never get triggered is to hide from everything always. And I realize now there was no way that I could be accomplishing the stuff that I am now without getting over this idea that everyone should dance around my tender feelings all the time. I
Amazing. Okay, let me turn that off. Okay, I'm hoping that didn't still play the sound, but we're okay even if it did. All right, so amazing, right? Like, A, it's asking other people to not be themselves. And B, it's taking away your opportunity to actually figure out why your system is scared of those things. So, for example, another way to navigate this when you're interacting with other people is to say, would you be willing to? Right? And then they get to be an adult and consider your request, and they might say no. And that way, we're not putting like our wellness in their hands, right? Because we are going to say, if A, B, or C happens, if I feel upset and I quit my job and break up with you because I'm upset, then that gives me the opportunity to find out that I needed more support and that I can learn what was freaking me out so much to the point that I wanted to quit my job and break up my relationship. And then I can get some therapy, do some journaling, and I can take care of that scared part of me so that it's not going to happen again. But if I just am like, don't do it, don't do it, don't make it that part get scared, then I'm just like in such a vulnerable, like standing at the edge of a cliff situation for the rest of my life. And like she was saying, like it's actually super rad to let yourself go ahead and see what you're scared of or get triggered so that you can take care of those parts of you. And a natural side effect, which is lovely, is that we build intimacy with people that we're willing to have rupture with. That repair is actually super powerful. And if we're asking them to be super like careful and edit themselves all the time, then we're not going to have the opportunity for that level of intimacy. So Pretty cool. Just wanted to share it with you. I will put the link in the description. And yeah, if you're in a relationship and you're like, but I want to tell them I don't like certain things, you can say, like, hey, would you be willing? An example is my kid sometimes likes to have a little fragrance in like a hair product or a cologne type of a thing. And I'm like, would you be willing to not do that when we're hanging out because I get migraines from it? And it worked for him. And there may be a time when it doesn't. And then I would get to decide like, okay, I'll just like open some windows or wear a mask or put the windows down if we're in the car or whatever. So we get to all like make decisions rather than feel like we're like being careful. Okay, lots of love.